every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at 6 p.m. Elodie was a beautiful, submissive and respectful young woman, leading a rather fulfilling professional life. She was the envy of all the men in the neighborhood and even in her department. But her personal life was another story. She and her husband Didier had been trying for years to have a child, but despite their best efforts, they just couldn't do it. After numerous medical examinations, Elodie learned that she was sterile.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Mr. Didier. Please take a seat.
Doctor, you asked to see me. That's why I'm here.
Exactly, Mr. Didier. I received the results of your and your wife's tests this morning, and I'd like to share them with you.
So what's the news?
The results reveal that the problem was with your wife, not you.
Please be more explicit, Doctor.
All I can confirm for now is that she's sterile and won't be able to conceive.
Lord. And what's the cause, Doctor? Is this a mistake by any chance?
The tests confirm that your wife is sterile. We've repeated them several times and the result is the same. As for the cause, I can't be precise since there may be several. And I'd prefer to have a face-to-face discussion with your wife first.
Okay. I'll send my wife to you by tomorrow for your needs.
All right, it'll be my pleasure.
Thank you and good day to you.
Same to you.
An hour later.
It's already 10 p.m., but Didier still hasn't come home. He hasn't even called me. Has he had a problem?
Send 2 more bottles.
Please, sir, it's already 10 p.m. and we're already leaving. You can't place any more orders.
But why? Don't I have the right to drink whenever I want?
Please, it's the rules here, and it's well posted at the entrance that we close at 10 p.m. on working days.
I don't care. Give me a drink. You can lock up on me. I'll sleep here.
Who's going to lock up a drunk in a bar? It's time to go, sir.
I refuse to go home. How am I going to tell my wife she's barren?
But how am I going to get rid of this man? It's getting late, sir. I'll call security.
You must leave, sir, or I shall be forced to use force.
Okay, I get it.
1 hour later.
Welcome back, honey, but you've been out here a long time today. It's almost midnight already. Why don't you talk? Oh, what a smell. Since when do you drink?
I'm going to sleep, darling.
Didier left his wife to go to bed without being able to tell her the sad news. But in the happy morning, he summoned up all his courage.
Hello, darling. I hope you had a good rest.
Yes, darling, I'm fine. Are you yourself all right?
I'm fine, thank God. But yesterday you came home late and drunk. You couldn't even talk to me.
Yes, I've been drinking. I know, and I'm sorry for... But my silence was quite voluntary. In my condition, I couldn't express myself any better.
Do you have a problem? Or is it our design delay?
Yes, darling.
Don't worry, we'll make a child. I'll be fat before you know it. Have faith.
Bah. I doubt that very much.
What do you mean you doubt it?
Yesterday I went to the doctor, but I didn't get any good news.
Really? But what's the new...
I'm sorry, honey, but it looks like you're sterile.
Oh my God.
Elodie had just had a seizure and ended up in hospital. The evil Didier had been avoiding was finally evident.
Please, sir, how is she?
She's doing much better. You can see her now. Ask for room 407. Now I'm going to see the gynecologist. As soon as I come back, I'll try to have a chat with her.
Thank you, doctor.
But you haven't got a shoe to fit.
I didn't have time to put one on. I'm so sorry, darling. It's because of me you were in pain.
It was important for you to tell me the truth. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm fine already. We could have gone home, but Dr. Charles asked me to wait for him.
All right, he told me to.
1 hour later.
Yes, please come in. Take it easy. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Much better. I've got all my strength back, sir. Thank you very much for your care.
Please, are you safe and available to talk with me?
Yes, no problem.
The results of your fertility tests reached me 2 days ago. I told your husband and asked you to come and see me. It was a great surprise to see you rushed here this morning. Apparently you couldn't bear the news. I'd like to feel your pain.
Thank you for your concern. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, it's true that I was shocked by the bad news. But we have to face reality. So I'd like you to tell me exactly what's causing my infertility.
Okay. The reason I asked to see you alone is to keep your answers to the questions I'd like to ask you confidential. Tell me and answer me truthfully.
The doctor had asked Elodie a number of intimate questions about her sexuality and previous experiences before her marriage, as well as about any infections she might have contracted in the past.
I'd like to talk to your husband too.
Okay, I really hope I understand what's going on.
I certainly hope so.
The doctor was confused by Elodie's answers and her husband's approval of having been her first man. A real dilemma, wasn't it? Yet Charles was very sure of his results, but his patient's answers proved otherwise. So he and his colleagues went back to looking for other probable causes, but nothing positive came up. As for the patient couple, they were becoming increasingly worried. Elodie and Didier hardly sleep at all. They are constantly on the lookout for information about themselves. Elodie turns to her mother, who reveals a devastating secret. A secret she'd been keeping for nearly 15 years.
Welcome, my daughter.
Thanks, Mom. How are you? Didier's gone away for a couple of days and I'd hate to stay home alone. That's why I came to visit you.
I'm fine, dear. You know it's a pleasure for me to have you spend time here sometimes. I miss you very much. Since your wedding, we rarely see each other. Sometimes I even feel like coming to your place for a weekend, but it wouldn't be right for me to come regularly.
I know, Mom.
And Didier, how is he? He stopped calling me a while ago.
He's fine, Mom.
Ah, okay, that's the gist of it. I'll make something to eat quickly.
I'll do it, Mom.
No, you rest. I'll make you your favorite food.
Corn dough with okra sauce. I think I'm going to rip my fingers off tonight.
Just pull them out gently.
But I have to do your hair before I leave. You won't have any objections.
All right, I accept.
Elodie had regained a little of her smile thanks to her mother's presence. The day after,
Didi. Didi.
Here I am, Mom.
Please sit down. Thanks for the hair. It's really pretty.
Please, Mom.
Tell me, daughter, why have you lost so much weight? You were in better shape than that.
It's the weather, Mom. The hassle of working left and right can be stressful.
I know, but you've been working since you were here with me and I knew what your shape was like. Don't confuse me. You know I'm your mother and you can share your worries with me.
Yes, Mom.
So what's the problem?
Mom, I've been married for 5 years now and I've never had a miscarriage. Every day I wake up I see my man sad even though he hides it from me. I see how his eyes shine when he sees children, but I'm incapable of making any for him.
I know, girl. Normally, you should already have a child, but that's no reason to mope all the time. You'll make me grandsons. Sure, you're still young. My first pregnancy came 7 years after I met your father.
Yes, I know, but you were younger than me then. You got married at 19 and I'm 30 now. The big problem isn't even about age or time.
And what's the problem?
I'm sterile. I'll never be able to have children again.
Oh my God. Who could have told you such a lie?
It's not a joke, Mom. I had been to the hospital and had several tests done that proved that. But my worry is that the doctors can't figure out why. According to them, it was due to a badly performed abortion or a sexually transmitted infection that was treated late. But I've never had an abortion and my first man is Didier. What is it, Mom? Why are you crying?
Forgive me, girl. Maybe the doctors are right.
Ah, what story is that? And why should I forgive you when you had nothing to do with it?
But there's something I never told you about yourself. When you were 15, you were drugged and raped by bandits. The same ones who had murdered your father. Unfortunately, you became pregnant after that tragedy. As you were still very young and had no suspicion of being raped, since you were drugged and unconscious, I decided to hide this part of the story. I hid the fact that my daughter was a rape victim from everyone. For them, it was your father alone who was murdered. If you have a good memory, you should remember that the month after your dad died, you didn't have your period. And I took you to hospital. Then the doctor gave you a few products and the following month you were back to normal. It was an abortion. But I didn't know you'd been contaminated during intercourse. I didn't know anything about the consequences of a sexually transmitted infection, or I'd have treated you too.
Why, Mom? Why didn't you tell me?
Forgive me, my daughter. I thought I was protecting you. Your father's death was already painful for you, and I wouldn't want the pain of rape and pregnancy to increase.
And yes, a sad story. Elodie's mother had kept the secret to protect her daughter from shame and pain, but this revelation sent her into a spiral of guilt and grief. She feels her daughter's sterility is punishment for her choice to abort her. Elodie and Didier decide to pursue fertility treatment, but the weight of secrecy weighs heavily on their marriage and relationship. Elodie begins to reflect on her abortion, wondering if things would have been different if she'd kept the child. Didier tries to support her, but feels powerless in the face of his wife's pain.
Honey, you haven't eaten in days. You'll end up hurting yourself. Having children in marriage is cute, but not being able to have them isn't a crime. We do our best. We invest in care. It's not like we've folded our arms. Only God knows why your story is the way it is, and only He can fulfill our desires. Wipe away your tears. Make yourself beautiful for me. I know it won't be easy for you, but know that I'll always be with you, with or without children.
All right, darling.
Come into my arms.
Elodie began to smile again and gradually broke out of it. She had an extraordinary in-laws. Instead of being criticized and belittled, her mother-in-law was very supportive, as were Didier's brothers and sisters.
Darling, it looks like your mom's here.
You have to receive her. I'll be there in a minute.
Welcome, Mom.
Thank you, daughter. How are you doing here?
We're fine, Mom. How's the family? Everyone's fine, I hope.
Yes, darling. And your husband?
He's on his way. I'm coming, Mom. I'm going to the kitchen.
Okay, but feel free to prepare anything. You know I don't eat anything.
Don't worry, Mom.
Happy arrival, my old darling.
My darling child. How are you?
I'm fine, Mom, and you?
I'm fine. It reassures me that all is well.
Yes, I'm feeling better now. Elodie is feeling better.
I'm glad. Take good care of her and don't let her want for anything.
All right, Mom.
A few hours later.
My daughter, I'll leave you to it. I've got a program right away.
Oh, you want to go back already? I thought you'd stay a bit longer.
I've got to go. Come and walk me to the gate.
Okay, Mom.
Listen, my daughter. You're a strong woman. Always keep the faith. Don't let yourself sink into tears and complaints because God knows His plans. God's ways are not our ways, they say. So keep meditating and praying. Don't forget that Sarah, old as she was, conceived to her husband, even though he was also very old. God writes straight with curved lines. Our God has no limits.
Elodie and Didier continued to pray day and night, and they also followed the doctor's treatment rigorously. But one day Elodie had excruciating lower abdominal pain. She sometimes had them when she was menstruating, but this time it was really alarming. After an ultrasound, Dr. Charles noticed that there was some kind of life inside her. But he no longer believed in his own machines or his own eyes. A miracle had occurred.
Doctor, what was wrong with me? Because I've been sitting here ever since, but you don't say anything.
I don't even know what to say.
What's wrong? I have cancer, right?
No, you're 2 weeks pregnant.
What? Me? Pregnant? 2 weeks? You're joking, right?
Here's the pregnancy test and ultrasound results. Congratulations. I don't know what happened. But you're extraordinarily lucky. The treatments you try normally give less than a 2% chance of a positive outcome in your infertility case. You're really lucky.
Yes, that's what we call God's grace. What is impossible for men is possible for God. Luke 18:27.
Why did you suddenly become so happy when you came back from the hospital?
Because you're going to be a father soon.
Dad?
Who? You, of course. I'm pregnant.
Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me. Thank you, honey. It's okay, honey.
Elodie came to term and gave birth to twins. Beautiful girls called Divines and Graces. After 2 years, 2 more beautiful boys, Jean-Pierre and Jean-Claude, were born. And so ends the story of the beautiful Elodie. Through this animated film, I'd like to say to you who are following me at the moment, wherever you are, whether you're in France, the USA, Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin, Cameroon, Gabon, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Haiti, etc. Know that God is omnipresent and omniscient. He works everywhere and His grace knows no borders. So don't lose your faith because of the difficulties you're going through. Sometimes things happen to us that make us question whether God really exists. But just know that He has the last word. He gives grace to whomever He chooses. Nothing is impossible for Him. You don't have to sit back and wait for everything to come down from heaven for you. Elodie and Didier hadn't given up or crossed their arms. They prayed and treated with faith that it would work. And God was gracious. Don't sit around complaining and doing nothing about your problems. Even if the solution you have today to deal with your difficulties isn't ideal, keep moving forward with it. Don't forget that the probability of success for Elodie's treatment was less than 2%, yet she had grace. And so it will be for all of you who follow me. Amen. I found that over 98% of the people who follow this channel don't subscribe. I don't know why this is so hard for you to do, when it's totally free and very simple. If you follow me, whether it's for the umpteenth time or for the first time, don't hesitate to subscribe and put a like if this animation has brought you something positive. I know you will. God bless you all.